You read that title correctly. The Taliban has an official YouTube channel. It's actually insane. And as of me making this video, also has slightly more subscribers than I do, which is devastating, but also understandable. They have helicopters, I do not. I wonder if YouTube sent them a plaque for hitting 100,000 subscribers. Today, I want to look it over, see if there's anything interesting to be found, there is, and try to make sense of all of it. Jihad the like and subscribe button, and let's talk about it. I should probably warn you, I do not speak Pashto, which is what all these squiggly bits in the titles of the videos you see are. So, I will be using Google Translate. Admittedly, it is not perfect. For example, it says that this video is titled The 10th of Fish. I have quite literally no way of knowing if this is correct or not. I didn't even think they had fish over there, let alone 10 of them, so bear with me. Now, first thing you'll notice is the channel name being MOD Afghanistan, which of course means that this channel is highlighting their Ministry of Defense, aka their military. Now, I couldn't find any other official YouTube channels directly from the actual government of Afghanistan, but I'd imagine the YouTube algorithm isn't going to be pushing the Taliban Secretary of Women's Oppressions vlogs that hard anyway. This isn't actually the first time the Taliban's tried the old YouTube before. Back in 2009, they tried their hand with the channel Istiklal Media, but that has, however, been shut down. Allegedly, all there was on there were car bomb explosions, and that's not even a joke. So what exactly is this new official channel all about? Simply put, it is a collection of military propaganda. American hypocrisy. Look, I'm not saying we don't do that too, okay? Don't get mad at me. I'm just calling balls and strikes here. There are 3 kinds of videos that you will find on this channel. First, some nice feel-good stories that usually involve kids and handshakes and guns. Second is long speeches by Taliban officials that, if the audience is of any indication, are incredibly boring, usually also with guns. And of course, everyone's favorite, and the reason you clicked on this video, sick training montages using the billions of dollars worth of military equipment we left behind in 2021, most of those being guns. Now, one interesting thing about this is that, technically speaking, this channel has actually been around since 2013. But the earliest capture I could find for it on the Wayback Machine was April 30th, 2023. This was 2 years after they had already posted their first video, simply titled 24 October 2021, which was quickly followed by their next 3 videos, also named 24 October 2021, which was 2 months after the last American troops left the Kabul airport. Funny enough, the first video not named after the day it was uploaded, Acting Minister of Defense, Afghanistan, was also the last one with an English title. After that, everything was in Pashto. One thing you'll notice is that the production quality on these things is not bad, actually. I promise you they put in way more effort than I do in making a YouTube video. The sheer fact that this person is physically standing up in this shot means that he has worked harder for this than I have. Now, I'm not out here claiming that this is Lawrence of Arabia level of cinematography, but it's certainly better than the potato quality low-res stuff we got used to for the last 20 years. That also had more artifacts than an untouched Egyptian pyramid. And this is what that footage looks like if they tried to digitally upscale it. Much better. Now, they might not have shitty AI upscales of their videos, but these boys are going ham on the Adobe Motion Graphics library for sure. I do like that the intent of this shot was to show all the Taliban fighters who died fighting the Americans, but all the faces repeat at least 4 or 5 times. Also, where are they getting these uniforms from? I mean, I know they can physically make clothes at scale, but the whole ensemble looks like at least parts of it would need to be imported. I don't know about that flag waving though, they probably could have skipped that one. I also like that they went with the North Korean white wall tire look, but didn't have white wall tires, so they just painted them white. Now let's talk about what these videos actually show, because I keep getting distracted by this. That is an easy question, because the answer is 99% military training. Now, surprisingly, there does appear to be things that look like actual training. This video shows the lads learning artillery stuff. They even have an actual sand table with grid lines set up. Whether or not that's new or left over from when some American lieutenant had to make it years ago, I do not know, but it does look nice. But that's not why you came and clicked on this video. No, you came for the good stuff. And so, it's no surprise their most popular video, titled Graduation Ceremony of the Ministry of National Defense Forces from the 313th Central Army Corps in Kabul, is exactly what you'd expect it to be. Sick video transitions, recreations of Metal Gear Solid 5's ADS while prone mechanics, and monkey bars over flaming tires, which, as everyone knows, is a throwback to what made them famous back in the day. Flaming tires is a general theme in this video, as after the monkey bars, the man then braves them again over a 2x4 balance beam. And of course, there's everyone's favorite, the jumping through the flaming of hoops. A classic amongst countries with lots of trade embargoes and a strong hatred of the United States. At one point though, they just boil it down to the real essence of everything and just have the guys run over fire, roll over the fire, and then karate chop said fire. I feel like karate chopping the fire was a bit more metaphorical in nature. If I was an English major, or if I could read, I'd have been all over this. Afterwards, a man then gets hit with a sledgehammer with rocks on top of him. A guy does, honestly, a fucking sick kick in slow motion. And some dudes shoot from behind tires and barrels while not actually having their sights flipped up. Now there is just so much of this footage, it would take you weeks to actually sit down and watch the hours upon hours of fake training stuff these guys have thrown up on YouTube. But, doing my job, I will attempt to show you some highlights. One video was dedicated to explosive ordnance disposal training, which I thought to be funny and ironic. In a lot of these videos, they like to add sound effects. So in this video, while you have a squad practicing bounding, which is actually something armies do train on, they've edited it so that it sounds like they're being shot at, even though they're just at a training range. FYI, if you are in any military and doing squad level tactics and find that there are bullets flying over your head, things have gone horrifically wrong. And a lieutenant somewhere is about to be crucified. Now, one thing you might notice is the interesting use of certain ear protection these guys are using in these videos, which appear to just be Bluetooth headphones. It might come as a surprise, but just because your headphones have a noise cancellation button doesn't mean that they're going to protect your ears from a gun being fired 3 inches away from them. I can't imagine the Taliban has disability benefits for dudes set up yet, so have fun trying to get that compensation, boyos. The use of weird headphone things is kinda like the Taliban's trademark. We've seen headphones and lawnmower earmuffs, mostly because they look like these, Peltors, which are like the cool guy ear protection, and that's what they're trying to mimic. Let the record show, I am not a cool guy, I am just bad with money. It's also why you see them wearing elbow pads and every weapon attachment imaginable. They are just trying to look the part. Other highlights from this clip include throwing smoke for obscuration to walk 5 feet, and this cool little circle walk thing that reminds me of when ants get confused and walk in a spiral until they starve to death. They also enjoy WWE level of scripted wrestling, and admittedly, this is probably about as effective as the US Army's level 1 combative certification. There's lots of stuff that could be considered high school drill team action, but I do like the inclusion of sparklers into the performance. I really think it sells it. I just want to take a second to really appreciate how much rehearsal it takes to pull these things off. I also had to do stupid stuff while in uniform like this. It takes a lot of practice. I'm just imagining some dude who signed up to fight the Western powers of evil, all motivated, only to be forced into human pyramid choreography for weeks on end, all for just a YouTube video. Now, I'm honestly trying to be somewhat impartial when I'm making this video. If I see something that looks like actual training, I am showing it to you, but some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Like this night training mission, where for some reason, the guys put on their nods while still inside of their own building with functioning lights, followed by a very obviously filmed during the daytime series of shots that they just threw on the Mountain Dew filter so that it looks like night vision green, followed by a dude going cyclic on a 240, on a bipod no less, while inside of a helicopter, but not actually shooting at anything because despite the helicopter flying forward, he does not traverse at all. After watching a lot of these videos, they all just kind of blend together, honestly. Guy with beard talks to camera person, large group of men with M16 stand in the background, shots of convoys with Taliban flags go rolling past, repeat ad nauseum. Now, even though this is the only official Taliban YouTube channel that I could find, they do sponsor other kinds of videos. We've all seen that they've been trying to encourage more tourism, especially if the tourists have any kind of social media following, in order to show that no, the Taliban aren't evil. They're just some quirked up Central Asian dudes that so happen to hold political opinions that are incredibly violent and completely incompatible with the rest of the developed world. But they've also been putting out their own brand of influencer types. This is a channel called Our Afghanistan, and before we dive into it, let's just take a second to appreciate the thumbnails. This is a true master at work. This guy also has some sick AI-generated intros too. According to the descriptions of his videos, the purpose of his channel is to uncover the truth of what really happened in Afghanistan during American occupation. Which we can assume to mean, here is a 20-minute video talking about all the bad stuff Americans did to Afghanistan since 2001. Fair. Admittedly, the manner in which he does this is more reminiscent of the street interview style that got the Haktua girl famous. Other highlights include road construction, putting out fires, and filming Taliban military checkpoints. Other channels, like Dostaran Kabul, are done in a similar manner. Admittedly, though, this guy doesn't have the same cool guy sunglasses the other one wore religiously. Now, the question starts to rise up. Who is this all for exactly? Who is the target audience for watching dudes with saws doing somersaults, or tire-walking marksmanship, or staring at your buddy's dick while he shoots his rifle qual? There's actually quite a bit of queer-coded content on here, it's pretty cool. When it comes to this kind of stuff, especially the military training stuff, it's hard to tell. Everything is in Pashto, the majority of the comments are either also in Pashto, a string of heart emojis, or this one particular guy from Bangladesh. This kind of stuff, this fake military training, is called Potemkin training, and it's something I've covered in the past, but it's worth mentioning again. What is Potemkin training, you ask, pleading for answers to the point of dry heaving and uncontrollable shaking? Potemkin training, at least in a military context, is basically making your military do things that, to the untrained eye, might look impressive. But to anyone else who has ever picked up an assault rifle before, is completely useless to the point that it's funny, not actually intimidating. Is walking on a tire while shooting blanks useful? Not in the slightest. Is diving through fire a way to show bravery? Maybe if you soak yourself in gasoline first. Is doing surrender/disarm drills then air kicking your buddy on the side of a mountain useful? Prob's not. Doesn't mean it's not a good time with the boys though. Actual training looks like this. Fake training looks like this. Potemkin training is basically the easiest way to try to look like you're a serious military force without actually being a serious military force. Or at the very least one that could engage in conventional, protracted, large-scale warfare. Hence, painting the tires of your wheels white, because if you squint your eyes at a distance, it looks okay-ish. If something looks like it's useful training, then to the Taliban, mission accomplished. See, Afghanistan is kind of going through a little bit of an identity crisis right now. They went from basically living in hiding for 20 years to owning the entire country in a matter of a couple months. When it comes to the people inside of Afghanistan, it's not hard for the new government to convince the population that they are in control when you have guys with rifles doing street patrols and stopping traffic, even if the guys with said rifles are on rollerblades for some reason. Your average Afghan citizen isn't going to be criticizing the guy at the military checkpoint about having night vision attached to his helmet during the daytime. He's going to be more concerned that guy with daytime night vision isn't going to shoot him while he's on his way to work. Publishing Potemkin training is an easy way to show your own citizens that the military does in fact exist and has some level of organization. Plus, it helps with recruitment. Plenty of people in the United States, myself included, joined the military because of video games. The Marine Corps famously had commercials with a guy fighting a dragon. Showing dudes flying around in helicopters and riding in armored vehicles is probably more than enough to convince a handful of unemployed military-aged males outside of Kabul to sign on the dotted line. Afghanistan, also to no one's surprise, is struggling in the international realm. International trade partners are hard to come by when your MO is instating Sharia law and making sure women can't read. As it stands, Afghanistan has no real existential threats. They have relatively stable ties with Pakistan, Iran doesn't like them, and they've had a few border clashes, but nothing that would point towards a full-scale war. China is more likely to build a train station in Kabul under the Belt and Road Initiative than they are sending in a battalion of troops. For the 3 other countries that they border, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, well, I don't really know what they're doing, other than being points of interest for mildly exploitative travel vlog YouTubers. But the next occupiers of Kandahar, they are not. But because the Taliban's current military objectives are mostly internal security related, the flashiest way to show off your military is to drive them up a snowy mountain and then shoot in random directions or do weird flat range antics. Also, elbow pads are for dorks. The only war these guys are fighting right now is the information war. Trying to show the world that they are in fact large and in charge. That they have a military that, at the very least, would make it a headache for anyone trying to fight, especially given the amount of arms and ammo left over from the United States. It's all about building appearances of legitimacy. Even if that legitimacy is built upon meme-level military antics and a desire to look like a Call of Duty operator. And on that note, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, I hope you liked the video, and I will see you in the next one.